They just keep coming, rambling on about virtue. I can't put up with this much longer. Everyone, you must not lose hope. In this battle, victory will be ours.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Night Owl channel. Welcome back to the series where we're counting down the top Dynasty Warriors characters as of the latest game. Coming in at number 69, we have Cao Ren. Cao Ren is a stout general who prides himself for his tenacity and stamina. He is known in this series for being the main commander at Fawn Castle. Let's go ahead and look at the popularity polls to see why Cao Ren ended up in 69th place. In the first popularity poll, Cao Ren receives 346 votes out of a total of 75,000, putting him at the 69th spot. And then in the second popularity poll, he goes down to 75th. And then in my personal ranking, Cao Ren is all the way up at 42nd. Cao Ren is an OG. I had to give him some respect, and he's been around for quite some time now. And I don't have anything against the character. I genuinely like the character. I don't play as him that much or anything, but I do like the character, and that's why he's kind of high up for me, up towards 42nd. So for those of you who don't know who Cao Ren is one of Cao Cao's cousins. Though he was known to be a callous brute during his youth, Cao Ren matured to be a courageous and lawful general while serving his cousin. I didn't know he was a callous brute, to be honest, and going through his Dynasty Warriors 9 ending, he's sitting in a shop and he's like ordering a drink and some food, and somebody recognizes him and he's like, "Oh, didn't you used to cause trouble around here?"
Excuse me, sir. Aren't you Lord Cao Ren?
Of course.
You haven't been here in a while, have you? I never thought an important commander of weight would come sneaking in here.
Come on, quiet down. Would you please stop announcing exactly who I am?
Oh.
You know that I have a reputation I have to maintain.
Oh, okay, I see. I understand. Then I won't even bother to mention all of the trouble that you used to get into back when you were a young man.
I would appreciate that.
And I didn't even think that, because when you first play with Cao Ren, first of all, the older games don't really mention anything about that. And, when you play as Cao Ren, when you see his cutscenes, when you see him talk, he's very law-abiding. He just seems like the opposite of what was described in his youth. He's actually, I guess because he wanted to keep it a secret, that nobody really knows how rambunctious he was. So it's kind of strange to me, learning that about Cao Ren when all I really know about him is what the game really shows us. And then Dynasty Warriors 9 was really the only game that really goes into what he used to be like, I guess, before he joined the military and before he joined Cao Cao's ranks. But Cao Ren, he's a compassionate person. He usually refers to himself as an immovable rock, obstructing his enemy's path, who will not falter unless he is broken. He's actually a pacifist at heart, and he actually dislikes war and those who actively perpetuate it.
There's one kind of person I just can't get along with. And that's people like you. People that take pleasure in fighting.
Oh! And what is that wicked-looking thing you're carrying for? Sewing?
Silence! I shall break that contemptible blade of yours.
So when I think of Cao Ren, I think of defense. He is reputed as a reliable defender for Cao Cao's territory, who protected the lands numerous times from invaders. Fawn Castle is probably the biggest battle for Cao Ren, but he has been in a lot of battles, and most of them have to do with defense or defending a territory, but the Fawn Castle battle is probably the biggest one. Cao Ren is the commander at Fawn Castle. He is the person, guarding the castle and stuff like that. He holds out long enough for the Wu reinforcements to arrive, for Shu Wong to arrive in order to push back Guan Yu and eventually slay him. So, Cao Ren, when I think of Cao Ren, I think of defense, and it's a perfect segue into his weapon style, because one of the weapons that he uses I believe it represents that shield and that defensive nature that he has. So in the first Dynasty Warriors game that he was playable, it was Dynasty Warriors 4, he received the spike shield, and he would have the spike shield in Dynasty Warriors 4, Dynasty Warriors 5, and then he loses it in Dynasty Warriors 6, and then he goes back to it in Dynasty Warriors 8. So he doesn't go back to it for a few games. And Dynasty Warriors 6, he got the pole arm, And unfortunately, this game resulted in a lot of cloning. So he had a weapon that was used by a lot of different characters. And in Dynasty Warriors 7, they give him the flail, which I wasn't really a big fan of. I definitely like the spike shield a little bit more. And then, like I said, Dynasty Warriors 8, he gets the spike shield back, which is really cool to see. I like the weapon style with spike shield. The spike shield weapon style is really fun to play as. And then he goes back to the flail in Dynasty Warriors 9. So, you know, he switches a lot with his weapons throughout the series. The main weapon he uses is the spike shield. It's my favorite weapon for him. The flail weapon is okay. The weapon moveset is like all right. The Musou attacks for the flail attacks are like okay. The Dynasty Warriors 9 ones are, yeah, they're basic. It's like a basic Musou attack, nothing too fancy or anything like that. Wasn't really a fan of it. Again, the spike shield was more of a weapon that I enjoyed using while playing as Cao Ren. But that's pretty much it for his weapon style. He does change it a few times, but like I said, I think the spike shield is the best weapon for Cao Ren. Now let's jump into his voice acting. This is going to be a very interesting segment because Cao Ren has a great voice. He has the same voice actor from Dynasty Warriors 4, the first game he was in, to Dynasty Warriors 8, and then he gets a new one in Dynasty Warriors 9. Let me tell you something about his voice acting, okay? So they're both okay. The first one he had, the fourth one through the eighth one, that was the best one. That's the best Cao Ren voice out there. Dynasty Warriors 9 is not that bad. And the only weird thing about it is he goes from like a deep, commander type voice.
We must make it our goal to use our swords to bring an end to this chaos.
To kind of like a squeaker.
According to men that witnessed the battle, he fought as if he was an actual god of war.
But he still sounds good. It's still a good voice. A little bit of backstory about both of the voice actors though. So the first thing about Cao Ren's voice actors is, so the one he had in Dynasty Warriors 4 to Dynasty Warriors 8, that voice actor actually did the fourth Raikage from the series Naruto.
I will kill you right here and now.
The Dynasty Warriors games, the Dynasty Warriors voice talents, a lot of them actually are in the Naruto series. You're going to see a lot of that. He's the first one that really stands out. He played not a big character, more of a supporting character, but the fourth Raikage from Naruto is what the first voice actor for Cao Ren. And then for the second voice actor, he's done a lot of work as well. But the most notable ones he's done is for Fallout 4, he played Bullet, Calvin Whitaker, and Sheffield. And then he also plays Dr. Octopus in the new Ultimate Alliance that came out last year. And then the biggest one that he actually plays, and it's so crazy because when you listen to Cao Ren's voice, I would have no idea that he played this character. He played Rigby from Regular Show. And if you listen to Cao Ren in Dynasty Warriors 9 and Rigby from Regular Show, they're completely, like, they don't sound anything alike.
Benson's gonna drop his balls when he sees how good we set up these chairs. He's gonna be all like, oh no, my gumball.
That's the spirit, you two. Li Dian, Yu Jin, come help me whip Cao Cao's army into fighting shape.
Mordecai, I hate you!
You better not be messing up my side of the room.
You're ruining my life!
Come on, quiet down.
So just a little fun fact about his voice acting there. Two people that have done a lot of work, other than, of course, Dynasty Warriors and stuff like that. It's just cool to see the parallels between different shows that I've watched and stuff like that, and then the games that I enjoy playing. But, voice acting, Cao Ren, don't have any big complaints about it. I did enjoy the first guys over the new guys, but, hey, he voiced Rigby. So, I'm a big fan of Regular Show. Don't mind him voicing Cao Ren. Again, it's not that bad. It's just, again, it's weird to go from like that deeper voice to like a higher pitched kind of voice. But they're both good. All right, so now let's talk about Cao Ren's appearance and how his appearance has changed over the last few games. And his appearance looks pretty much the same. He's got this heavy set armor on him. And it kind of revolves around that. There's not much difference in each game. Dynasty Warriors 7, he looks the heaviest in. He has like the heaviest armor. He looks like the most sturdiest. Looks like a giant boulder. But the other games revolve around that same theme of him with the armor, and then he has his shield or the flail or the pole armor he uses in Dynasty Warriors 6. So his appearance stays relatively the same. Not much changes there. And he relatively looks the same throughout each of the games. The only time he looks a little weird is the end of Dynasty Warriors 9 where he has no armor on. But yeah, other than that, his appearance stays relatively the same. Now, last but not least, let's talk about his relationship with other officers. He only really has one main relationship, but we'll talk about two of them in this one. The first one we're going to talk about is his relationship with Cao Cao. Like I said in the beginning, Cao Ren is Cao Cao's cousin, and with Cao Cao being the leader and the ruler of the Wei Kingdom, it's obvious that Cao Cao and Cao Ren will have a close relationship with each other because of the kinship that they have, and then of course they share the same goals of they both believe. Well, Cao Ren adopted the belief because of Cao Cao. I would assume he thinks that war is necessary to take down or to neutralize all the chaos. But the only other relationships that he has, but it's not as evident throughout the games, it's just like one particular instance, and that's the Battle of Fan Castle with Pang De and Yujin. So Pang De, they have a cutscene they share together, I believe, in Dynasty Warriors 7 or 8, and Pang De, he's carrying a coffin, and Cao Ren's inspired by this because he's telling him that he carries his coffin around to remind him of death, so that way he stays, humbled, and every time he goes out to fight, it could be his last, which was the case at the Battle of Fan Castle. That's when Pang De actually dies. And then with Yujin is also a part of the Battle of Fan Castle, and when they're attacked, Yujin decides to surrender, and he's part of Cao Ren, hyping the troops up, encouraging them, and training them for that upcoming Fan Castle battle. So Cao Ren and Yujin are both preparing the troops for war and stuff like that. So they have that relationship, as in they're both war generals, and they're there to help each other. A lot of the generals have that relationship, but because that battle was so significant between both of them, they might have a little bit stronger relationship than some of the other characters do with Cao Ren. But other than that, guys, that's all I really have for Cao Ren. His death wasn't depicted in Dynasty Warriors. I'm assuming it was a death of old age or illness or something, because there's no he doesn't get killed by anybody or assassinated or anything like that. It just states his death was on a certain day and he died at the age of 56. But yeah, guys, that's gonna be it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Number 68 will be coming out here pretty soon. If you guys haven't seen any of the other episodes, feel free to check that out in the playlist that is linked in the description. It has all the characters that I've done so far. We're getting closer and closer to those higher numbers where we will get to the more popular and fan favorite characters. But I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching, everyone.